connecting back to the rose quartz heart crystal. And so that was the conversation we had setting up today, and basically just kind of inviting a better understanding of how crystalline energy works. So let's get a warm round of applause for Aravel, and she's going to share with us today.
Thank you, Annie. It's really great to be back after over a year when I was here the first time. So it's very exciting to also be part of the community and to be in service with this community and the growth and the expansion of the community, and also the alignment of growing awareness and consciousness. And because of this alignment, I'm here personally on a regular basis. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you. So I want to begin with my journey with the crystals in just like 2 minutes, just to give you a background or backdrop of what amazing gifts these beautiful conscious beings and energies are. Not until I began to feel is when I began to understand their power. And it took 40 years before I could feel them. But once I began to feel them, they began to be my teachers and began to show me what they are and what they're here to do. So that was over a decade ago. And when I began to work with them, I had to let go of my mind approach. And my mind approach was, how does this work? And please show me how this works. And once I got rid of that and allowed my heart to experience what this energy was, that's when I began to experience the healing energies that they broadcast. Through that journey of experiencing the healing journey and allowing the healing and transformation to happen, there was a slow, gentle excavation and transformation. And shedding these layers more and more got me to see more of myself and allow more of the light in. And what happened after a few years was I realized that I had created a life from my mind, and that these crystals and crystal skulls were now helping me to create a life for my heart. I want to pause on that. I didn't know there was such thing as a life created from the heart. So this is why 10 years have gone by and I'm still playing with the crystals. I haven't stopped playing with them. I still work with them. I've discovered many other treasures. One of them was, there's many, but I'll start with one, is I forgot what fear was about. Does anyone know what fear is? I forgot, in playing and having fun and excitement, just being with these crystals, I forgot fear. And then I realized, wow, I'm just doing what I love and it keeps growing. Oh, I'm actually listening to my heart and not my mind. Oh, this is great that I can bring enthusiasm and excitement into everything I do. Oh, and so I didn't have a manual or anything to follow when I started working with them. There was no do it like this, do it like that, 1, 2, 3, ABC, none of that. It was, let's see what this is. And so when I began to observe myself and watch my life be free, because that's the third thing I noticed, I started experiencing more freedom. And the fourth thing I noticed with working with crystals was my view went from like a helicopter view to an airplane view and then to a satellite view. And when your perspective expands, your whole life changes. Because when your consciousness raises, everything shifts. So let me explain that. I began to understand that these crystals are here to assist our physical bodies because they are treasures of the earth, they are gems. And these treasures and gems assist our physical body to reconfigure to the new matrix. So I'm going to speak as simple as possible to have you understand this. So the way we grow in consciousness and elevate and activate is by our own ability to hold more light in our physical bodies. These crystals assist our physical bodies to assimilate, to integrate, and to hold more light, if we allow, if we want to. Once we're able to hold more light, our consciousness grows. And when our consciousness expands, we become more aware of what we like and what we don't like, who we want to be with and who we don't want to be with. And when our truth is how we navigate our lives, that is when we start experiencing more joy. And when we're in more joy and more peace and more harmony, that's what activates. I mean, this is what we're all here, is to have more of that. Peace, love, joy. And these crystals and crystal skulls are here to do that. So I want to give you a little groundwork on the crystal skulls. Why a crystal skull? Ooh. Ooh. First of all, I'm going to pass Simon. This is Simon. I'm going to pass him around. Andrew, please give me the pleasure to begin him. Yes. So, Simon, it's funny that his name is Simon. Simon says he wants to go around first. So I give him first right. There's plenty of other ones. Isabel. Shaman. Does anyone want to see Shaman?
Yeah.
Ooh, I got some excitement on Shaman. Yes. They all can go by. Are you guys okay with holding the crystals?
Yeah.
They're different. Okay, we'll pass them on. Okay, this one's heavy. Yes. They said yes.
I feel like I gotta put my legs into it, you know what I mean? Get low and then lift it. Number one rule, don't drop the crystal skull. That's the only rule we have.
So as begin to pass some of these skulls, this one is named Isabel. Isabel is a black obsidian skull, and I'll explain why skulls. And they won't bite you, they won't hurt you, they are love beings, they are sacred workers, DNA workers. I have been so lucky 3 years in my work and my transformational journey. This was about 9 years ago, 10 years ago, when I was guided from the crystals. The crystals said, work with the skulls. And I said, well, what do you want me to do with these skulls? I don't know what to do with the skulls. And what I did was, I looked at the skull and I said, well, what are you gonna do? And what am I supposed to do? And how does this work? And fortunately, I had the patience to begin to open my heart to understand what these skulls, what these crystals, what this consciousness does. And what I found out was when a crystal is carved, a plain crystal, a beautiful crystal from the earth is carved, and the eyes are carved. So in faceting of a crystal skull, once the eyes are carved, the consciousness comes into the crystal skull. Now the consciousness we're referring to is not limited to one consciousness. It's not a human being's consciousness. It's a consciousness, and it's star consciousness, galactic consciousness, collective consciousness. All the crystal skulls, once they are carved, they're an anchor point of light, of consciousness, and they're here to offer service of light, service of love. They emanate light frequency, and they're here to assist the planet evolve. So they're here to assist our physical bodies to be able to hold more light, and so that our consciousness rises, so that our consciousness raises, and so that our world becomes a better place. They're kind of the undercover, behind the scenes, workers of the light.
Something occurred to me that I love what you said about play, because when I look at all these, they're just so beautiful, first of all, but also that I remember that in the Jewish faith, there was a thing where they had like actual jewels affixed to their head and their heart, an array of jewels here, and it was to project this heavenly information right into the head, to the heart.
Yes, and we want them to be in alignment with each other, the head and the heart. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So it's great that you're holding them. Now, one of the things that does happen when you're working or looking at or feeling a crystal skull is they're anchoring light and consciousness. They are like another being reflecting to you. So you see you. So if you like you, you'll like the skull. If you don't like you, you may not like the skull. I'm just telling you how it works. Also, have anyone ever heard that, you're not from here, you're from the stars? Have anyone ever heard that? Or does anybody relate to that here? Okay. Well, what they also do is they help you remember who you are. So who you really are in your divine essence. So, as beautiful Alex was saying, they're not to be understood with the mind. They are to be connected with the heart. And they are powerful tools of transformation. So not everyone is necessarily ready to transform or shift. But if you are ready to shift, to transform, to grow in consciousness, to move into higher consciousness, higher awareness. Awareness is key. These beautiful sacred workers are here to do this. I want to talk about this here, if it's okay. Do I have time? A little bit? I have a couple more minutes. Okay. So, I brought here today a combination of crystals and crystal skulls. They are configured in a way that creates a portal, a stargate. This stargate anchors the frequencies and codes of the divine into the earth plane and into this space. So, in the center, there's a rose quartz grid, and the rose quartz grid anchors a portal of light. The outer grids, it's a bee, it's a little, it's a beetle. Yeah, you got it. Thank goodness.
You have a beetle on your leg?
Oh my god. That's crazy.
So the four outer configurations, they're called clearing grids. So in order to really fully anchor the light and really super anchor the light with the crystals and the crystal skulls, we surrounded the center portal with the clearing grid. So any energies that are needing to be cleared, anything, they will be taken care of by the outer, and so that it allows the center grid to anchor the light. So these grids are going to be working today when Ryan does his beautiful work, and I will work with him, and so will the crystals and the divine beings working through the crystals. Do you want me to share this?
Just want to keep the conversation going for a minute longer, because of course, we have that skeptical mind, you know, and I hear it kind of doing that thing in my head. And really, the answer comes to really faith and whatever and however you choose to believe, whether it's this, whether it's more importantly what's within. This is just simply, as you mentioned, a portal similar to this space. There's a lot of similarities as you're sharing to what this experience has been, because it is really coming from a place of your heart. And so the full circle story, of course, activating these rose quartz heart crystals as a campaign, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, but it's basically starting now. You're experiencing it. We have faith, and we've had faith in what we feel good doing, what brings us joy, what brings us love, quite literally. So it's like a sort of a skeptical mind for anyone that's kind of having a little bit of that, like how does a portal, how does a crystal skull? And just, I was looking for an answer, and I think the answer is within, and that this is represents to sort of the outside world love and ways of being better and feeling better. And somebody mentioned over there, it's like existing, you know, constructs of spirituality, religion. They come with layers that are just not as pure. You're just looking for purity. So very much grateful to you sharing this with us, of course. Anybody have any questions before we go into the sound healing? Yeah.
I think I did a project on crystals in like 5th grade or something. Mom, do you remember? Is this like 5th, 4th, 6th grade? Oh, you remember?
A long time ago.
And I came into it very skeptical, and but then I realized that crystals play a big part in technology that we consider essential, and they regulate energy. They literally, so all the hippie woo stuff, it's like, yeah, crystals regulating your energy, man. Like, well, no, actually, it really does do that. And so in a larger sense, welcoming this ritual and this play and regulating whatever sort of spiritual energy you choose to conjure up is like actually something that I think you could be able to do, and especially with how beautiful this is. It's amazing.
Just to continue on that, we say the word activation a lot. Another word that we can use to replace that is personification. Quantum physics suggests that when we put our energy into something, it actually reacts to it. Just the fact that we're perceiving it and then sort of putting a thought about what it is and creating reality around it. So as we activate these crystals, as we personify them into being alive, it actually becomes so. And then that plays into what we're doing today with manifesting. We're attempting to have a vision and bring it into reality. And right now that vision is for us to hold this space so that we can be together.
And these beautiful crystals and crystal skulls hold some powerful space. And I'm so grateful to bring them here and share them with you and begin the conversation. There's a lot more, and we hope to see you. I hope to see you on the 7th for anyone who wants to dive in a little bit more.